Thank you for joining us, Eamonn. I suppose, first of all, in very basic terms, what is a freeport?
A freeport is an area where, usually next to an airport or a seaport, where you can bring in goods. You can bring in components, for example. You can assemble them into finished goods. You can pack them. You can label them, and then you can send them out again without having to pay customs duty when you bring everything in. So it's like a little area that's not really part of the country, so that you can do your business there and then export again without facing any British customs charges.
And this could help boost the economy in what way?
Well, it means that there are many of these freeports around the world. There are many thousands, in fact, and we don't really have any here at all. We had an earlier round, which wasn't terribly effective. But the idea is that these would act as a hub where businesses could go and locate and do all this international trade without getting the hit of British customs. And that would attract in jobs and attract innovation and more prosperity in the regions. So in terms of levelling up, that's part of the agenda.
It's interesting looking back at that first Freeports Advisory Panel on which you sat in 2019. We've got a picture that we can show viewers on television of it. There's Liz Truss, who was leading the panel there, sitting next to then Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Rishi Sunak, who's sitting next to you in this photograph. And it's interesting looking at this photograph. Way back in 2019, there was an argument as to who was sort of spearheading the Freeports agenda, Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak. There they are sitting together. And over the summer, there was an argument over what were freeports to be. Liz Truss said she wanted full-fat freeports. Some were sort of conflated with enterprise zones. Are there different degrees of how successful freeports can be, how radical freeports can be?
Yes, because what you don't see in that picture is about the 30-odd Treasury civil servants who were sitting at the back of the room. That's when I thought this idea is not going to work. If the Treasury is too deeply involved, because the Treasury wants to keep every atom of revenue that it can. And I think you've got to think differently in these things. So yes, Liz Truss was very much in favour of making it full fat. The current proposal basically from the Treasury is that yes, there might be a few reliefs on taxation, things like national insurance and business reliefs, but there's not going to be any deregulation. That's not part of it. And I think that's absolutely essential, that what we need is a regulatory sandbox, so that in these areas you can try different sorts of regulation and deregulation, and you can see what works and you can see what brings in the trade and what doesn't make much of a difference.